the internet, the divisions among international community, among our even familial ties, the internet, the things we read, we pick our own communities, right? And when we do that at a large enough scale, what happens is we stop hearing the things that we need to hear in order to understand what the truth really is, as opposed to simply what we want to believe. And this gets us to that idea of whistleblowing in ethics, which was what I wanted to tie this into.
Yes.
You asked, what I'm known for. In 2013, I contacted a number of different journalists. And the thing that people remember is from the documentary film Citizen 4, as opposed to the Edward Snowden film. I said, my identity was not known to these journalists yet. I was writing through encrypted communications, because we were all concerned the NSA would arrest us all before we got the truth out. And I said, for now, know that every border you cross, every purchase you make, every call you dial, every cell phone tower you pass, friend you keep, article you write, site you visit, subject line you type, and packet you route is in the hands of a system whose reach is unlimited and whose safeguards are not. I went on to tell the journalists that I could prove that this was true because I worked for the government and I had access to classified documents that would prove these things were real. But doing that meant that I was basically burning my life to the ground. It was an enormous sacrifice. And I didn't want to do that. Once I realized what was going on, I looked around, I talked to my colleagues, I said, do you think this is right? And no, they all thought it was wrong, but they thought there wasn't anything they could do about it. And realistically, I thought there wasn't anything I could do about it for the longest time. But I thought somebody else would, because we have a system, right? We have a society, we have all of these links that are supposed to safeguard against these comprehensive failures. And if I just waited, somebody would come forward. There would be some easy solution, some magic button, some promise out there from someone that there was an easy way and things would get better, right? And I wouldn't have to do anything. But the reality is life isn't fair. And sometimes the person that we're waiting for is us. There was no boss, there was no supervisor, there was no colleague, there was no congressman, there was no president who made this better, who's going to make this better. And the only way things could get better is if we looked around at everything that was going on and go, can I trust this? What can I trust? Where's the proof? And so I contacted journalists, and so I provided this, and then the rest is really history. I am a wanted man. I can't return back home. I was living in Hawaii, making an incredible amount of money for doing very little work with the woman that I loved. And I had to give all of that up. And so, again, in the context of this, this idea of whistleblowing, it's really remarkable to me that people go through the day and they become so familiar with this sense of wrongdoing, with seeing things like I saw in the office and hoping somebody else would do something about it, or turning a blind eye and going, it's not my problem, these are not my people, it doesn't impact me, I can get by with it, that they just let things happen. But I don't want to do that anymore. And so it's really astonishing to me that just before I connected, I had a friend reach out to me and tell me they heard things on this conference. Like is someone saying that they couldn't afford this, and the host saying find a way to afford it, or we need to defeat the virus if I can't afford it. In a time of inequality, we can't accept that. People are struggling, and there are things that we can't ask them to do. And to say that that's okay, to turn a blind eye, to go on with that, I think is wrong. And so I have to ask, it's very unusual that you booked me for this conference because, as a whistleblower, it's my obligation, I think personally and professionally, to ask, is this you?
Yes.
Because I think that it is.
Yes.
And I think that the things that I've heard tonight make me very uncomfortable with this event. I think it makes me very uncomfortable, and everyone involved with this should really question, is this the kind of association that they want to have? Are you going to be able to deliver on the promises that you're making them? I sure hope to God that you will. But my advice to everyone on this call tonight, everyone looking at this, is look up. what you're getting involved in. If you spent money, are you sure that you want to spend it, or do you want to charge it back? And by God, think hard about if you want to continue this, because for me, ladies and gentlemen, for tonight, I don't. Thank you so much, and good night.
Wow. Wow. Let's take like a few minutes break, and I'll be right back, and we'll go over this. I'll go over the whole thing with you guys. This is totally unexpected, and I'm so sorry that this has happened. A lot of times, same things like where somebody writes something, and these are the same stuff that a lot of people do, where there's a headline where people look at, and I'm so sorry to see that he has chosen to do that. So I just need 5 minutes, and I'll be right back. Thank you. Thank you.